I made $1,800 in 3 minutes last Friday trading futures, and I'm going to show you my exact strategy and what I did. Now, I did end up making another $1,000 later in the day, but we're going to go through all of these trades here and walk you through them. They are different trades, and I want to show you exactly what I did. So the first trade of the day really happened right before market open. On the left here, we have the S&P 500. Now, I always have the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ up at the same time, but my trade was actually in the NASDAQ. As you can see here, I had already entered 3 contracts long. You see my stop limit and you see where my take profit is. It was at the all-time high buy-side liquidity. Now, the S&P 500 already surpassed all-time high, and I was looking for the NASDAQ to do the same. So I waited for this trade into this fair value gap, and I took this long with 3 contracts. The market just opened a minute ago, and I'm looking for a burst to the all-time high because this is my draw here, and this is my stop limit. So let's see what happens. Even though the market just opened, the trade is kind of jumping around, and I already set my limit order up here at the all-time high. Now we're up about $700, and I move my stop to break even. Now it's a free trade, and the worst that can happen is I make $0. There's a stop to break even. Quick burst up. And there it is. That was a $1,200 trade. Only took me a couple of minutes, but all that was just figuring out where my draw on liquidity was and then waiting for a pullback into a fair value gap to enter. And I already saw the S&P 500 surpass all-time highs. And before I go on to the next trade, I just want to address something real quick that's probably in the title of this video relating to a small account. How am I doing this with a small account, and how can you do it with a small account? As I mentioned earlier, I'm using TopStep. TopStep is a prop firm. It's a futures prop firm. If you pass the evaluation, which if you use the link in the description, only costs $49 to get an evaluation account. If you hit the 6% profit target and you're in a 50K evaluation account, then they give you a 50K, what they call an express account. This is an account that you can actually trade real money with. And if you pass the parameters, then you can request 100% up to $10,000. If you run the account past $10,000, then it is a 90-10 profit split, 10% for TopStep, 90% for the trader. But essentially in this 50K account, you can trade 5 futures contracts. Now, if you were going to try to do this with real money in something like Thinkorswim, TD Ameritrade, it'll cost you $20,000 for each margin contract. This is why people think that trading futures is so expensive. But now with the advent of prop firms, and this is completely legal in the US, and TopStep is based in the US as well, you can actually get approved to trade an account that has 50K in buying power and up to 5 contracts. So in that first trade that I just showed you, I was trading 3 contracts, even though I could have traded 5, but I have to manage my risk accordingly with a 10-point stop, which is $200 per contract. So in essence, I risked only $600 to make about $1,300 on this trade. If you have any questions on prop firms or margin requirements or account size or whatever, leave it in the comment section below and I'll respond to each one that I can. Now, the next trade was a short. And when we took those all-time highs on the NASDAQ, we dropped below it quickly and we started rejecting off of that all-time high level. So not only that, but we also had an inverse fair value gap right here, which I had drawn. And we also have a fair value gap right here. So I ended up taking that short. I took 1 contract this time because I don't want to give back any of the money that I made from the morning. And I wasn't so sure about this. And I was kind of front running the trade a little bit. But we had the IFVG, the FVG, as well as this being the all-time high level that we were rejecting from. So up 300 already. We had a nice flush down. This is more than a 2-to-1 right here. So that was just my target. I wasn't targeting any lower. Just wanted to grab a little bit more than a 2-to-1 on this trade. Ended up closing it out for 600 and change. Now, this next trade was kind of messed up. I did front run it. I saw this fair value gap here, was targeting relative equal lows. We hit these relative equal lows 3 times this week without breaking it down. That was my draw on liquidity. After taking buy-side liquidity from all-time highs, I thought later in the day we would get to this, and this was right before market close. But I front ran the short here, and I thought I was good, even though there was a chance that later in the day, right before market close, we would get a run of liquidity back to this previous high level, which was also OTE, before then coming down here. Now, I did not set a really tight stop here. I set a pretty wide stop, taking into account what I just described. So look what happens. The trade was green and it ends up severely red. I'm 3 contracts short. And then let's see what happens. So right around here, I realized that liquidity can actually be run one more time before market close. And I did something I shouldn't have done. I moved my stop up to account for that. But this wasn't even a 2-to-1 trade. Honestly, it was probably a 1.7-to-1 trade. Now, the reason that I was okay doing that is I was really sure that we would come down to this draw here, these relative equal lows. It was clear to me that that was the draw for the end of the day. When you are trading, the number one question you're trying to ask is, which direction are we going? And if you can do that with a high degree of consistency, then you have solved like 80% of trading. So yeah, I ended up drawing the OTE there and realized that OTE can be taken right above the previous day high. And this is when I moved the stop limit, or I might have canceled it. There you go. I moved the stop limit up to OTE. Now the trade is down about $500. Let's see what happens. And remember, I'm up $1,800 on the day, so giving back some of this money would suck ass, especially if that stop hit. But I was really, really confident in the draw on liquidity. It was just a matter of whether it would come from that fair value gap that I initially took the short from, or is it going to draw to OTE? My God, so close. But that's the power of fibs. That's the power of OTE. Down 737. Look how close it gets to this stop. There you go. It hits OTE, gets above the previous day high, and now I'm expecting a flush here. And if not, then I gave back almost $800 of the $1,800 that I made, which only took me a few minutes, and I didn't have to take this last second trade right before market close. Oh my God, so close. All right, now I think I'm in the clear here because we got a nice rejection. This is exactly what I expect. And it looks like a power of 3 play, right? You have the consolidation, then the manipulation leg up, and now I'm hoping for an expansion down to the relative equal lows. And remember, this is my entry here, so I'm very far from actually where I entered, and I needed to get below that in order to be in the money. At least we're back to near break even. Now, what I should have done is I should have actually closed this entire trade out. Now that the market gave me the grace of being break even, I should have closed this trade out. But like I said, I was super confident in targeting those relative equal lows. So I ended up moving my stop down instead of that crazy ass stop that I had before, back to the original stop. And now you can see me take that stop off. This was so stupid. And now I'm thinking, man, I should have just taken break even because now I'm back down minus 400. And I'm almost considering setting a stop limit at break even, and then I cancel it at the last second. Watch, you'll see that here. So my stop is near break even, and if it touched that point, I'd be out of the trade. Then I go back and look at the 5-minute and say, no, the drawn liquidity is still down there. It's crazy how trading just ends up playing with your emotions. Not really playing with your emotions, but you're having to make split-second decisions, and it's all about your confidence level, which comes from experience. It's all about your risk to reward as well. So there are times when you are just second-guessing yourself, and you can think yourself out of a trade or into a trade, right? But then I had to keep reminding myself, where is the drawn liquidity? Where is the drawn liquidity? The drawn liquidity is down there. It is late in the day, and I probably shouldn't be in this trade, but I'm here now. So let me see where I have confidence in the draw being, as opposed to panicking and exiting the trade. But from a risk management standpoint, to be honest, looking back at this, I should have closed out when the market gave me the graces of break even a couple of times on this trade. And I'm still in it, and the market already closed. Okay, we're now below, and I'm like, okay, thank God. Should I close it? No, we're going down to relative equal lows. There's a big push. Now we're up 300, 400, and now it's just moving in my position. We're up 600. So what do? Now I set my stop to break even. And I'm like, okay, freaking thank God we are now in a risk-free trade, up 700, 800. So I end up taking one contract off, I think. Here, let me see. Took one contract off when I was up 800. Now I only have two short. And the reason I did, again, it's the market had already closed and we were at these lows, even though I was targeting these lows. But I was in this trade for so long, I said, man, I got to take some off the table at the next liquidity level, the next internal liquidity level. I'm still in short two contracts, up 725 on this position. And I think I take another one off here and leave one runner for relative equal lows. Up 825 now. Checking my balance. Took one off, took another one off. Now I have a runner. Now, here's what the frustrating thing is. Because I'm trading a funded account on this, I'm trading on this account. It's a funded account. Top Step won't let you hold an order past 4:10 p.m. Eastern time. And remember, I said this is after hours, right? So I was holding for this liquidity draw here, but I totally forgot because I never traded funded accounts before. This is my first funded account, and I ran it from 0 up until 6,500 now, I think, or almost 7,000 now. So I'm not used to trading funded. In a personal account, you can hold it for whenever, until, for days to come, until the contract expires if you want to. But I didn't know that, or I forgot that about a funded account. So I'm holding it here, not even knowing that my position is going to be closed automatically at 4:10 p.m., even though we did get near these relative equal lows eventually, but my position had already closed out. And there it is. You see that order canceled there. It was 4:10 p.m. They locked me out of the system. At least it locked me out for profit. And there are my stats on the day, almost $3,000. Would have been more if Top Step didn't lock me out. But you could see here that last trade took 58 minutes for that last $1,000. Again, it wasn't that great of a trade. It was great, a great concept in hindsight, but the risk management, the time in the trade, the fact that it was after hours, I shouldn't have stayed in that trade. But if I wasn't profitable early on, I would not have. So it's crazy to see this contrast where the first couple of trades that made me $1,800 literally took 3 minutes to make $1,800. And then that last trade took 58 minutes to make an additional $1,000. Ended the day almost $3,000 up. If you guys like these recaps, let me know below, whatever platform you're watching this on. If you like these recaps, let me know, and I will continue to do them for you. I think really it is invaluable trading education to see actual trades and executions broken down like this and why we take them. And if you want to join the monthly Discord and learn how to do all this stuff and get all of my executions in real time, make sure that you get your name on the wait list. Also, if you're watching this before March 3rd, we are doing a free mastermind on Sunday, March 3rd at 7 p.m. EST, where I will break down exactly how I find entries, how I do TA. You will get to learn all of this stuff, and I'm doing it absolutely free as long as there's room on the wait list. We are capping it at 1,000 signups. We already have 900 and something, so make sure that you get your name on that list as well. Comment down below. Let me know if you like it. Stay safe out there, traders. Peace.